Let's review the using command line interface with questions and answers part 2. The question reads, what are the four main types of memories in a Cisco device? In order to answer this question, you may need to remember this figure. As you can see, the four main types of memories of a Cisco device are ROM, flash, NVRAM, and RAM. So the answers for this question are A, C, D, and E. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Cisco's router booting process. The question reads, a network engineer is trying to access a Cisco switch with the party as in the screenshot. What best describes his action? As you can see, the party shows that he is connected to the telnet via this IP address and using a custom port for telnet because the default port for telnet is 23. So the answers for this question is C. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Accessing Cisco CLI. The question reads, what happens after issuing the above commands and what you should do next? The first command will bring you to the line configuration mode. The next command will set up the password Cisco skills. And the third command will force it to log in with the password Cisco skill when accessing the console. So after you issue these three commands, it will require you to enter the password when logging into the console. And what you should do next is to save the configuration into the NVRAM. So the answers for this question are A and B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Cisco's router booting process. The question reads, after hitting enter, you will access. So you are in the privilege mode. After you issue the command configure terminal and hit enter, it will bring you to the global configuration mode. So the answers for this question is B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Using Cisco CLI to access Cisco iOS mode. The question reads, when a router is at power off state, what type of memory stores Cisco iOS? In order to answer this question, you may need to remember this figure. As you can see, this is the state when router is off and Cisco iOS store in the flash memory. So the answers for this question is C. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Cisco's router booting process. The question reads, what are the default settings for the console port of a Cisco device? As you know, the default settings for the console port of a Cisco device are the baud rate is 9600 bit per second, parity is none, the data bit is 8, and the stop bit is 1. So the answer for this question is B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Accessing Cisco CLI. The question reads, what command restore the working configuration for a Cisco switch? As you know, the working configuration is usually saved in the startup config. And in order to restore the working configuration from the startup config, you have to be in the privilege mode. Therefore, A and D are not the answer. And let's look into B. B, we are in the privilege mode, and we copy it from the startup config to running config, which is to restore the working configuration from the startup config. So this is the answer. Let's look into C. C is copying from running config to the startup configs. So this is used to save the running configuration to the startup configs. So this is not the answer. So the final answer in this question is B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Cisco's router booting process.